Why are forward squares better for chess outposts? Imagine placing a piece deep inside your opponent's territory, where it can influence the game from a strong position. That's the power of a forward square for an outpost. Outposts are squares in the opponent's half of the board that your pieces can occupy without fear of being pushed away by enemy pawns. These squares are protected by your pawns or pieces, making them stable spots to control key areas. When you put a piece on a forward outpost, especially a knight, it can attack weak points, defend your own advanced pawns, and limit your opponent's options. Why are these forward squares so much better? First, they give your pieces more influence. A piece on a forward outpost can threaten the enemy's king side or queen side, depending on where it sits. For example, a knight on e5 or d5 can reach many important squares in the enemy camp. These central or near-central outposts are especially powerful because they control the most critical parts of the board. Second, forward outposts are difficult for your opponent to challenge. Since they are beyond the reach of enemy pawns, your opponent can't easily push a pawn to kick your piece away. This means they need to use more valuable pieces like bishops or rooks to challenge your outpost, which can disrupt their coordination. For instance, if your knight is on d5, your opponent might need to use a bishop or rook to remove it, costing them time or material. Third, pieces on forward outposts tend to be more active and flexible. A knight on e6 or d6 can jump to many squares in the enemy's territory, threatening forks and supporting pawn breaks. This increased activity makes your pieces more dangerous and harder for your opponent to ignore. The further into the enemy's side your piece sits, the more threats it can create. In the middle game, controlling these forward squares becomes a key goal. Players often sacrifice a pawn or accept weaknesses elsewhere to get a piece on a strong outpost. Once there, it can serve as a launching pad for attacks, a safe retreat point, or a base for controlling open lines and diagonals. To sum up, forward squares are better for outposts because they let your pieces project power deeper into your opponent's position. They are harder for the enemy to challenge, boost your piece activity, and often become focal points for attacks. Central outposts, especially, are a hallmark of strong middle game play. Recognizing these squares and fighting for them is a smart move at any level of chess.